everybody, and welcome to the Maurice Brown Show-Sports Edition with my main man from the Washington, D.C. area, sports enthusiast Antoine Real Stewart on the Maurice Brown Show. What up, Stu?
What's up, Mo? How you doing, man?
Man, I am doing great. We are going to break down these games from the NFL yesterday, and I'll tell you right now, there were some interesting ball games, no question about it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we dive in, just to understand we're talking to a San Francisco 49er fan, so he may feel some kind of way as we get through this show. So just to understand that. It's going to be okay, though. Now, yesterday was pretty wild in the NFL. I'm going to tell you that right now. We had the Jets beating the Bengals 34-31, which I have no concept in any way, shape, form, or fashion of understanding how the Jets beat the Cincinnati Bengals, a team we'll talk about a little bit later on in the show as being part of the AFC's top five. Stu, your impressions of that game?
Any given Sunday.
Well, we were just talking.
Man. That's why.
Yeah.
You gotta love the sport. You gotta love the sport, man. Well, any given Sunday, these are professional football teams. If you don't bring your best, you will get beat.
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder about some of these teams in the NFL. I don't think rookies should be starting on anybody's football team. Rookies need to have a clipboard, a baseball cap, and they need to be saying yes, sir, or no, sir. And do you need any water, Mr. Rogers? You see what I'm saying, Stu? So, I mean, Zach Wilson, not there. You got backup Mike White. He comes in and beats a team that a lot of people feel, including myself, that's one of the best teams in the AFC. But, I'm going to go with you on that any given Sunday. Tennessee over the Colts yesterday, 34-31, and they lost Big Dog for maybe the rest of the year.
Oh, man. That was a major blow, I had them ranked. Actually, I know we're not getting into this yet, but on the top of the top dogs in the AFC, I had them ranked number 1, Tennessee.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you right now, they can look. I'm going to keep this thing 100. Without Big Dog, they're done. They're done.
I mean, who are their backups?
Well, it's not who the backup is. It's who the – okay. Ryan Tannehill – hold on, Stu. Let me just say this. Ryan Tannehill is barely an average quarterback. And he's been able to benefit from that dominant boss running game.
Yeah.
What's my man? Derrick Henry. He is the sole reason. Okay, I'll give you a good example. Let's skip down to the Steelers and Cleveland Browns. 15-10, Pittsburgh, a bum team, beats the Cleveland Browns, who were once a team many thought was one of the top 5 in the AFC, one of the big dog teams. Baker Mayfield didn't have Kareem Hunt, and he didn't have Nick Chubb. So when the running game is gone, guess what? Your quarterback is exposed as being a pretty decent QB or kind of a bum or average. And guess what? Baker Mayfield can't get it done unless he's supported by a major league running game. Period.
Yeah.
So I would have gone with Case. Now the Cleveland Browns have to decide, hey, maybe we better go with Casey Keenum.
Right.
I know you paid Baker $40 million and to walk around a football stadium and act like, that's his house and all that stuff.
Did Baker get hurt?
Well, he hurt his off-throwing shoulder going into about 2 weeks ago. But he didn't get hurt yesterday. He just came in the game with an injury. He's trying to be Brett Favre and be a tough guy. Sit down! Anyway. So I'm looking at that. I'm like, you get exposed in the NFL.
Yeah.
And so it is what it is. Let's go to the Rams and the Texans. That was an easy one, 38-22.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm going to say this about the Texans. Okay.
Uh-huh.
They just decided yesterday that they are not going to trade Deshaun Watson.
Really?
They decided today that they will not trade him. So I'm looking at this thing, dude, and I'm like, why are they doing this to Deshaun Watson?
Sad thing, man. It's a sad day in the NFL, man. They need to go ahead and let him go. If you're not going to play him, let him be great, man. Don't waste away his prime years sitting on the bench.
Well, look, Stu, I'm going to keep this thing 100. That's one thing about the Maurice Brown Show-Sports Edition. We're going to keep everything 100. Let me just say this. Deshaun Watson decided that he wanted to be traded after the Texans paid him. How much did they give him? 90? I don't know how much money they gave. They gave him a ton of money. I forget how much he signed for. They gave him a ton of money. And then DeAndre Hopkins left. Then J.J. Watt left because there's some shenanigans apparently going on in the front office up there in Houston. And he saw a sinking ship. He said, "Get me out of here. Get me out of here," Deshaun Watson said. And the owner of the Houston Texans was like, "Hold on there, buddy. You're in the big state of Texas, buddy.
Right.
Do you know how much money I gave you, son?"
Right.
So all these allegations of him, having these what do you call these ladies that the massage ladies or whatever.
Yeah.
Saying that, he violated me and yada, yada. I think 20-some cases accusing him of violating them. Good and well. I find it very hard to believe that he violated any of those women.
No criminal charges.
Yeah, they weren't criminal charges. And now all of a sudden come to find out that the lawyer is the next-door neighbor to the owner of the Houston Texans.
Coincidence, huh?
How about that? And so now they're like, Deshaun, you're not going anywhere. Now, I could take it to a level but I ain't going to go there. But I'm like, man. Anyway, the Texans are I feel bad for Deshaun Watson. I just feel bad for that guy.
I hope they have a change of heart. The little birdie is that the Carolina Panthers are jumping into the situation trying to get a trade for him.
Is that right?
That's what I just heard this morning.
Well, I mean that would be a good landing spot for him, but they're not going to let him go. This is done out of spite by the Houston front office. There's not enough money that anyone could give Houston, short of giving them Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, that they'll settle for because they want him to feel pain. Deshaun Watson.
What can happen is that the Texans fan base stop coming to the games. You want to hit them in their pockets. No one comes to the games and supports the team anymore. Let them go, man.
That makes sense. Well, we move on to the Philadelphia Eagles over the Lions yesterday, 44-6. Well, look, Philly did what they were supposed to do.
Exactly.
Okay. The Philadelphia Eagles are about that close to winning. Is that you or me? Okay. That they are about that close to winning games. They just can't quite get over the hump. So clearly they're not a very good team, but they're not a bum team.
Right.
The Eagles are actually closer than a lot of people want to give them credit for. And the other sign we get out of this game is it looks like the Lions just put up the white flag, like, we're done. We're checking out. We're not. Dan Campbell, you're a nice dude, man. I'm done. I'm done. So that's bad. Then the Patriots yesterday beating the Chargers. What do you think of that one? 27-24.
That was a big game. I was impressed.
I didn't see that one coming. I didn't see that one coming. What's up?
I thought about that conversation you and I had about Bill Belichick.
Okay.
And, his coaching ability and being a great coach. And, with this rookie quarterback, you've seen the Belichick formula starting to play out. That wasn't no slouch team they beat.
Well, here's the thing about Bill Belichick, and we have more football coming up, but I think he's a very good coach. Great is something I don't know if I really want to give him because of the fact that, Tom Brady has moved on. He's doing his thing. But I'll say this. The Chargers are still the Chargers because they play like that all the time. They look great one week, next week they fall on their face. They look great for 3 weeks, and the next week they fall on their face. That's what they did when Phillip Rivers was there, and it looks like they're doing it again. There's no way, Stu, and we'll find out down the road. I'm like, how did they lose to the Patriots? The Chargers. I don't know.
Good defense.
Well, I'll just, again, I will reserve my commentary for later on in the season, but I will say it's the Chargers again. Anyway, let's go to Carolina over the Falcons. That game means nothing to anybody.
No.
You know what I mean? A game didn't mean anything. 19-13 Panthers. As we move on, the Seahawks destroy the Jaguars. Well, Geno Smith showed that he does have a pulse.
That's the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That's why I say he showed he have a pulse. I'm not going to go ahead and crown him or nothing. But so that was an easy win for the Seahawks. And then the did you watch the Broncos and the Washington football team?
I saw bits and pieces of it.
Okay. And the Redskins found a way to blow the game as only they can. Oh, I mean the football team. They found a way to blow the game as only they can.
That's Washington football, You got to find a way to blow it somehow. No,
I watched what's the kid's name? The kid with the beer name?
What position?
Heineke, that's it.
Oh, Heineke.
So I watched the kid throw a perfect pass, put it in the bread basket of the kid in McLaurin, right?
Yeah.
TD, Washington football team. I said, okay, I think they're about to do what they need to do and win this ball game because I felt like they should have beaten Denver. But the problem with Taylor, is it Taylor? What's the kid's name?
Heineke?
Yeah, that's it. So I'm like this. He's too up and down. He's very inconsistent. Sometimes he looks really, really good, and sometimes he looks really, really bad. Call Cam Newton.
That reminds me of another quarterback I'm familiar with.
Who's that?
But we'll get to that later.
Okay, got it. Yeah, we're going to get to him in just a moment. And then, okay, let's get to him right now. They beat the Bears yesterday, 33-22. Being a 49er fan, your impressions?
Great team win. Jimmy G knew that his butt was on the line.
Yeah.
If he loses this game, he's getting benched. He's getting benched.
Yeah.
And he knew it. So he showed up. And that's the thing about Jimmy. When he shows up like that, he reminds you like, wow, okay, I see what Shanahan sees in him. Yeah. But it's just, can he do it consistently? He's not consistent. It's not a consistent quarterback.
No, he's not. He's not. And we're going to talk a little bit. We're going to dive into the state of the 49ers in just a little bit. The last game of the day was Sunday Night Football. The Cowboys over the Vikings 2016 with a backup quarterback by the name of Cooper Rush. Now, I don't know. I've never heard of Cooper Rush. I think he played in a cowboy movie back in the day or something. I don't know. But he came out there and won the ball game, and I'm looking at the Minnesota Vikings right now, and I'm like, if you're one of those teams that's creeping into the picture as maybe being one of those dogs in the NFC, you spoiled all that talk last night when you lost to Cooper Rush.
Man, the Cowboys, I hate to say it, they're looking good. They're looking good, man. And the fact that they did that, because Minnesota's no slouch. I'm not saying that they're a good team, but they're a team that you got to bring it with Minnesota. They got weapons. Kurt can carve you up here and there. They got a good defense. They're a pretty good team. But they got to win games like that. Without Dak, you got to beat the Cowboys. You got to win that game. And they couldn't find a way to get it done.
They couldn't find a way to get it done, and I keep going to Kirk Cousins every time this kind of thing happens. It's like, hey, Kirk, you should be able to torch that daggone Cowboy secondary. And he wasn't able to do it, and they got beat. But I like your point about the fact that the Cowboys actually may be one of those teams. Let's switch gears because now let me just say this: you have a team called the San Francisco 49ers.
Bang bang out again.
And they were one of those teams that you felt like had a chance to make the Super Bowl when the season started. Mm-hmm. And now all of a sudden here we are up to week 9, and I think they are 3-5. No, I'm sorry, 3-4.
Yeah.
And it's like the question is, what happened to the 49ers?
Inconsistent play at the quarterback position. Too many penalties, man. If you look at the 49ers 4 losses that we had, I mean, they were like less than a touchdown, maybe a touchdown. We were in each one of those games. We could have won each one of those games. But you got to clean up the penalties. You got to clean up the pass interference we kept getting. Being able to convert on 3rd down, scoring touchdowns instead of field goals. Jimmy being consistent. Coach Shanahan being consistent in his play calling. It was just, I can't put it all on Jimmy. It was bad team losses. But Jimmy did, play a huge part in that with his play at the quarterback position.
Well, Jimmy Garoppolo is a guy that doesn't understand that he's a starter. You're no longer a backup. He has a backup's mentality, and he doesn't, he's supposed to be walking around like John Wayne. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm the dude, I'm the man. You got to have that personality, and he doesn't, and he plays that way. Now, you got to beat the Bears. Yesterday, the Bears they couldn't figure their way out of a brown paper bag. And you see what I'm saying? So you got to win this game. So
I got something to say on that too.
Yeah, go ahead, Stu.
Now, what's the Bears head coach? Was it Matt Nagy?
Matt Nagy, that's it.
He wasn't there. He was on the COVID protocol.
Okay.
And they said this was Fields' best game. He looked like himself. He looked fluid. He looked like he was not thinking and just playing football.
Right.
Is Matt Nagy part of the reason Justin Fields was struggling, trying to make him something he isn't? He can pass in the pocket, but sometimes you got to move him out of the pocket. He's a rookie. Make him feel comfortable in his own skin and let him play his style of football.
Well, I mean, I would agree with you on that. I mean, the Bears are in a situation where they don't have any choice. I mean, you're not going to start Andy Dalton over Justin Fields.
No.
Stop playing with me.
No.
And they tried to do that. And then he got injured, and they were forced to throw him into the fire. Now, that being said, I'm not a proponent of putting a rookie on the field as a starter, at quarterback in the NFL. I'm just not – I'm not one of those people. But Justin Fields, is it because of Matt Nagy's play calling? I would say so. It's pretty poor. Matt Nagy's play calling is pretty poor.
Yeah,
and and you saw yesterday that Justin Fields can do a little bit more for that team, but at the end of the day, they can't. The Chicago Bears, that is, they can't figure out how to get out of a brown paper bag.
Right.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
I like starting rookies, man. I know you don't like starting the rookies, but unless you have a situation where you have an Alex Smith or you have a pretty good quarterback there. If you don't have anything there, let that guy get experience. Look at Peyton Manning and Drew Brees. Look at their rookie career, their rookie seasons. They weren't that great. But if you can take something from it, if you can learn from it and make these mistakes early on so that you don't make them later on in your career as much, I feel like, you got to get out there and play because the NFL game speed is so fast. You can't replicate that in practice.
No, you can't, and that's one thing Justin Fields is starting to realize is that that this is not cheeseburger state out here. I mean, every Sunday, these guys, and I mean the fat boys run you down in the NFL.
Yeah,
the fat boys will run you down in the NFL. So I mean, you can't get to that edge like you did against Troy State.
Right. Oh, yeah.
When you see what I'm saying, when you was running over Rutgers and do what you moonwalking against the Rutgers.
Yeah.
You see, but in the NFL, man, it's championship week every Sunday, so you got to get used to the game speed and give the guy a chance to kind of digest it slowly, and then you kind of put him on out there. But it is what it is. I mean, they don't have any choice. I would have started Justin Fields at the beginning of the year. Now, you look at Mac Jones. He's in a good system. He's coming along pretty good. Yeah. But I'm not a proponent of that. But I do think that the 49ers were one of those big dog teams you felt like at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Right now, I don't know. I don't know what's up with them.
We're still in the hunt. We're still in the hunt. That we had to beat Chicago. That was a must-win game for us moving forward. And now, we got Arizona coming up next week, and Calamari may be hurt. He may not play. So I don't even know who their backup is, but I'll take that game without Calamari. I feel confident without him playing that we can get that win.
Oh, yeah, you got that one. If Kyler's not on the field, the Cardinals are getting that big L.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll beat them. It's no question. Let's switch gears, as we were talking about the 49ers being maybe one of those teams, which so far they have not been. Let's look at the top 5 teams in the NFC, and it is a five-team horse race to the finish line at this point. When you talk about Green Bay, Arizona, the Bucs, the Rams, and the Cowboys. Out of those 5, who do you like?
I got my notes from this one.
Okay.
My top 5, I have the Rams number 1, sitting at 7-1. I have those Green Bay Packers number 2, sitting at 7-1.
Okay.
I have Arizona sitting at 7-1 at number 3.
Okay.
I have Cowboys sitting at 6-1, number 4.
Okay.
And I have the Buccaneers sitting at 6-2, number 5.
Okay. That's interesting. So, as you mentioned, the Bucs at 6-2, and you got them in the 5th position. What is your assessment of how they lost to the New Orleans Saints?
It was bad. Looking at the history, New Orleans, since Tom has been with Tampa, New Orleans has had their number defensively. But as a championship team, as a defending champions, you would have thought with Winston going out early that they would have had that game. Who would have thought that the third string quarterback would have came in and they would have won the game?
Yeah. What happened to Taysom Hill?
He was out on a concussion.
Did he play at all? Oh, so prior to that game, he had gotten a concussion.
Right. He never played the entire game.
Okay. Well, you would figure, because it looks like Jameis is going to be out a while.
He's done.
Oh, it's done for the year. Oh, my God. Well, so now they will have Taysom Hill available. I actually think that Taysom Hill is a better option than Jameis Winston.
I like his playmaking ability. I think Jameis Winston is a better pocket passer. If he can cut down on the interceptions with a quarterback guru like Sean Payton, he has been cutting down the interceptions, the play calling, running the rock. They got 2 great running backs back there and taking the shots, picking your shots. Every play doesn't have to be a big play. Eating up the clock, getting the first downs, and then when things open up, you take your shots deep. I think Jameis Winston has been doing a good job at managing, the game and everything. And I think what's his name? Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill. I think he gives another electrifying factor. His running ability. His running ability is so good that he's like a running back there as well. But you kind of want to dial it back a little bit because now, you're the guy. It's different than when Drew Brees was in there. If Hill gets hurt, it's like, okay, we got Brees, but now you're the guy. So it'll be interesting to see if that comes into play as far as the play calling is concerned when calling plays with Hill in the game.
Well, we will see. I look at you, and you mentioned the turnovers. I mean, you don't need Black Santa Claus out there being your quarterback. You see what I'm saying, Stu? He be giving that rock up like Santa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, you don't need Black Santa Claus. What's that?
Said he was the defensive player of the year.
Yeah. So, we will see. That was a surprise win. Now, you have at number 1, you said that you like the Rams. The Rams, believe it or not, if they weren't strong enough on defense as it was, they just picked up Von Miller.
Tell me about it, man. I'm
like, whoa.
When I heard that news, I was a little disappointed. I'm like, goodness gracious, they're already a great defense. the last thing they need is Von Miller. But
well, you know why they did it? They went out and got because the Cardinals embarrassed the Rams.
Yeah.
And it was because they couldn't catch Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
And I think Von Miller is a guy coming off the edge that might neutralize all that action.
Yeah.
Von Miller will run him down.
He will.
And I think that's why the Rams did that. If you look at the way they've been playing all year, they haven't had any problems with anybody other than that Cardinal game. They got waxed by Arizona.
Yeah.
And they couldn't catch the water bug, Kyler Murray. They could catch water bugs. So getting Von Miller, I would agree with your number one pick right now. I think you have to go with the Los Angeles Rams as being probably the best team in the NFC right now. I would definitely go with that. I would definitely go with Green Bay at number 2 because right now they are sitting in a position like they got to go to Kansas City on this Sunday coming up.
Yeah.
And that game doesn't look like it did when the schedule makers drew it up. Okay, they're not going to go to Kansas City and win when they first drew it up. Now you feel like they could go down there and win. Not saying that all of a sudden Patrick Mahomes will not wake up. He could at any moment.
Yeah, most definitely.
But I think you have more confidence that maybe the Packers can go down there and win down there. I don't know. We'll see. The Chiefs, as far as I'm concerned, they're really still kind of the Chiefs. I wouldn't play around with them. And then you said at number 3 that you like the Cowboys.
No, number 3 I have Arizona at 70.
Okay, Arizona. Yeah. Can't argue with that. Kyler Murray being injured is not a good look for them. And I think they will lose. Without Kyler Murray, I think they will lose to the 49ers. And then you had the Cowboys at number 4.
Yes.
And the Cowboys are a team, I would agree with you once again. They won with a backup named Cooper Rush, who was in some cowboy film somewhere. I don't know where it was, but it was a movie somewhere. And they still won the game.
Yeah, that was impressive.
And so I'm looking at Dallas, where I'm going, whoa, they might be one of them dogs. They could win it. They might be able to make a run to the Super Bowl. And then you got the Bucks.
Yeah.
Yesterday is a head scratcher for me. I don't know how they lost to the Saints.
Tom played bad. I mean, it is what it is. He had a bad game. It happens.
Now,
do you sacked 3 times?
Yeah. Okay.
Threw 3 picks or something like that?
Yeah.
Bad game. The Saints had his number.
Do you think the age of 44 is starting to catch up with him?
Nah.
Okay.
I just think he had a bad game. Matchups are everything, and the Saints match up well with them defensively.
Yeah.
They were able to run the ball, and make plays and everything, and their defense played great. Their cornerbacks, their defensive backs, their disguises, everything. They just played a great full game, complete game, 4 quarters. They were there. Okay,
I'll give you that. We'll chalk it up to it just being a bad game. Anybody can have a bad hair day.
Yeah.
I don't have any hair, so I don't have to worry about that. But I'll just tell you, right? I'll just tell you right now. I don't count Tom Brady out.
No,
I don't count him out.
No.
He's you talk about a scary dude. Tom Brady's a scary dude.
Right.
What Tom Brady did was he said, okay, and he wrote down everything he did wrong in that game. He's going to have the remote control on all night, every night for the rest of the week to figure out what went wrong in that game won't go wrong again, particularly against the Saints when he sees them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I don't count Tom Brady out. Let's go over the AFC. The top 5 in the AFC are the Ravens, Bengals. After what the Bengals did yesterday, I don't know, but the Bills, Raiders, and Titans. What's your top 5 in what order?
My top 5, number 1 at 6-2, I got the Tennessee Titans.
Okay.
I made this list before the Henry incident, but until they prove otherwise, I believe they're the top team in the AFC.
Okay.
Top number 2 team, I had the Baltimore Ravens at 6-2.
Okay.
Number 3, I got the Buffalo Bills at 5-2. Number 4, I had the Oakland Raiders at 5-2. Number 5, I have the Chargers at 4-3. And with that loss to the Jets, I put the Bengals at 6 with 5-3.
That's a good list. That's a good order. That's a very good order. And you said at number 1 you got the Ravens.
Titans at 6-2.
You got and that one right there. I'm going to have a question with, because I think with Derrick Henry now being pronounced out for the season.
Yeah.
No. Ryan Tannehill is not one of those guys that can lead you to a championship, and unless they got someone that can come remotely close to what big dog Derrick Henry was doing, and they might have to do it by committee and get 2 or 3 backs and run them in there and try to somehow duplicate what Derrick Henry was doing. Right. They're done, dude. They might not even make the play. I just don't see Ryan Tannehill getting them more than 9 wins, if that's what it comes down to. But with Derrick Henry, okay, yeah. But without him, I think they're done. Now, number 2, you had the Ravens, right?
Yes.
That's a good pick. I like that one. The Ravens, Lamar Jackson, you can't go wrong with him. The Bills were 3, right?
Bills number 3.
Josh Allen is a guy that I've always looked at Josh Allen a little bit sideways. He's a great athlete. He's got a gun for an arm. He does not read coverages that well.
Yeah.
And if you are able to apply pressure on him, he can implode. And that's why Buffalo's sitting at what are they, 5-2?
5-2.
Buffalo should be undefeated.
Yeah.
And so Josh Allen, we'll see. But anyway, he's at number 3. And then at number 4, you had the Raiders.
Yes, sir.
The Raiders, dude, let me say this. I think that John Gruden, that situation with him kind of just messed the team chemistry up. Now with him gone, they're like playing the way they were at the beginning of the year. Like the Raiders are a dangerous squad.
They are.
And they're going to have something to say come January about who goes to the Super Bowl. I think that's a good pick at number 4. And then at number 5, you have the Chargers?
Yes, Chargers at number 5.
Dude, I'm going to say, and that's good. They belong at number 5 of the top 5. Because I don't know how they lost to the pay. Again, and it could be that, all right, now Bill Belichick has Mac Jones right where he wants Mac Jones. And, okay, the kid's a solid quarterback. He's a great dink and dunker. Yeah. But he's not a guy that can stretch the field. Mac Jones, I have not seen him with that ability. But he's smart. And he gets that ball where he can do exactly what their offensive coordinator wants to do. So I don't know whether to look at the Chargers sideways or to look at the Patriots as a team that's on the come-up now, and they're starting to get a rhythm going. I don't know. But the Chargers at number 5, yeah, that's where they belong. Just leave them at number 5, and we'll keep it moving.
Bengals number 6.
Matt Fortney says the Titans just signed AP.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, stop.
Uh-oh.
Matt, I hope you're not suggesting – anyway, I don't know what you're suggesting. I don't think you're suggesting anything one way or the other, Matt. But their reaction is, we got to go get somebody. Let's go get Adrian Peterson. He's not going to be able to do what Big Dog did.
They need a running back by committee. That's what they need.
If you throw Adrian Peterson into a running back by committee deal, might work.
Yeah,
it might work. And then I got my buddy from Uganda watching. All right, Uganda, I love it. We're going to teach you some American football here. So I like your top 5. That makes sense. It makes perfect sense to me. I can go with that. What's that?
The Bengals, number 6.
The Bengals. Oh, yeah, the Bengals have to be number 6. Well, no, there's no room for them. They got to get out of here. So Matt says, you would take AP on the Packers. You know what? Okay, hold on.
That would be a nice 1-2 punch.
By committee.
Yeah.
I would take Adrian Peterson is not, I don't want to slight Adrian Peterson. He's a really good running back. He's just not that dude anymore, and so he's not someone that's going to be the answer to my team. But yeah, I'd take it. I take him. I give him a couple of. How many times would I run AP if he was with the Packers? Okay, get in there and run one play for me, then get back over to the bench. But no, seriously, Adrian Peterson by committee in Tennessee, that might work.
Yeah,
that might not be a bad look at all.
Look at the Ravens. Look what happened to the Ravens.
Yeah, absolutely. I look at when you look at the Bengals though, you tried to cram them into the top 5, and you had them at 6. Dude, I don't know how you lose to the New York Jets. I just don't know how you do that.
I don't know.
And now Joe Burrow did his thing.
Yeah.
But you get a guy off the bench with the worst team arguably in football, and you lose to them, and you're supposed to be one of those teams trending in the right direction. I'm going to go with what you said earlier, Stu. Anybody can have a bad game.
Yeah.
The defense simply had a bad game against the Jets. They probably disrespected them. They probably didn't do a lot of film work on that. We got this one, Joe, go out there and put up 50 points. We're going to get the W. And they got shell-shocked.
Yeah.
They just
Bad
got
loss.
shot.
Bad loss, man.
I'm gonna give them a break on that. I'm gonna go with the fact that Cincinnati's probably one of those teams. So Matt says, is Joe B in the conversation for comeback player of the year? Who's Joe B?
Joe Burrows?
Oh, you know what? I think so. I love Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is the real deal.
Yeah, he's the truth.
He's the real deal. I would go along with that, Matt. Absolutely, he should be. I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
But if he is balling, man.
He's balling.
So I definitely would go along with that. Joe Burrow scares. Matter of fact, I was so glad that we got lucky and got out of Cincinnati with that W, because he had us good. He had us against the ropes.
Yeah.
So now let's look at the NFL top 10.
Okay.
What's your top 10?
All right. We got I got the Rams sitting at number 1, 7-1.
Okay.
I got Green Bay, number 2.
All right.
7-1.
Yep.
I got Arizona, number 3, 7-1.
Okay.
I got the Titans. Well, I made this list before the injury happened.
Yeah.
But I had the Titans at number 4, sitting at 6-2.
Okay.
Had the Cowboys, number 5 at 6-1.
Wow. Okay.
Then I had the Ravens at number 6 at 6-2.
Okay.
Had the Bucks, number 7.
Whoa, that's a serious drop for Tommy and the Bucks.
That was a bad loss. I mean, you're going against a third-string quarterback, But I got the Bills at number 8 at 5-2.
Okay.
The Raiders at number 9 at 5-2. And then the Chargers at number 10 at 4-3.
It's a good list. It's a good lineup. I would say, did you have the Bengals? You didn't have them in the top 10, did you?
No, they didn't make the cut.
So here's the deal on that, man. If you look at, your top 10, 4 of them in the top 5 are from the NFC.
Yeah.
And it kind of and I think that's really where the horse race is this year. It's in the NFC.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some scary good teams in the NFC. I don't even know if I want to. I think you're a little harsh with dropping the Bucks all the way down to number 7, because it's still Tom Brady, and it's like, yeah, well, and you got to remember the Saints beat the Packers 38-3.
Right.
So,
I do want to be clear of this now. This is just regular season. We all know in the postseason what Tom does. He wins. So this is just the regular season as of right now. Now, we know in the postseason, the team that, the favorite to win the Super Bowl is Tom. I'm not taking that away from him, but as of right now, I think they deserve some bad criticism to that terrible loss to the Saints, with a third-string quarterback.
I think that's fair. I tell you right now, and I hate to say what I'm about to say, but I got to keep this thing 100. I think Tampa Bay is going back to the Super Bowl and they're going to win it again.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's going to get ring number 8. I hate saying that. I absolutely hate saying that. But, I mean, the guy is just the best we've ever seen, man.
Yeah.
He's smart. He gets that rock out of there quick. And if he has a bad game like he did Sunday, that won't happen again. That team will not get him in the playoffs, I'll tell you that.
Right.
Yeah. So, I'm just looking at the thing, man, and and so Matt says, Aaron was sending a message to the Packers organization with that law. Yeah, I would agree with that. Now, as I look back to week 1 when we got, skull drugged by the Saints,
yeah,
I'm like, yeah, Aaron's playing games. Like, it almost looked like he didn't even care that they were getting humiliated. He was still grinning like he was in Chico, California.
Yeah, that was a message.
I would go along with that. So, Stu, you're correct. That's a bad look for the Bucs losing to New Orleans, and it was a third-string quarterback. So,
yeah,
it is what it is. I like your list. You got a really good list. We're going to keep this thing moving, and we're going to look at a preview of tonight's game, the Giants versus the Chiefs. What do you think about that?
I think this is the must-win for the Chiefs. Must-win. I mean, you don't want to lose to the Giants.
No.
You don't want to lose to the Giants because I honestly believe that if they lose to the Giants, they may not make the playoffs. Now, Patrick Mahomes, he can get on a hot streak and get hot. But losing to a team like the Giants, I think defenses are going to light up. I think that the confidence is going to be on a different level. Teams are going to approach them with a different swag level. Yeah. And I think that the morale in the locker room is going to be people are going to start pointing fingers. It's just bad if they lose to the Giants tonight. I don't see how they can bounce back from the loss tonight.
I would totally agree with that. And here's the thing about the Giants. They are a team that, it's like if you catch the Giants on a certain Sunday and you're not really ready to handle your business, they'll beat you.
Yeah.
Especially if Saquon Barkley is in there.
Yeah.
And is he still out, by the way?
I'm not sure. We have to look that up.
Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones, they can be dangerous.
Yeah.
You go fooling around with the G-Men and you go, oh, we got this one tonight, dude, and you gonna get pimp slapped.
It could be another situation like the Jets did yesterday.
Same thing as what happened with the Jets.
Yeah.
But so the Giants they're a weird team, and the Chiefs better be careful because you're right. If they fool around and lose tonight, season could be over. Because then the locker room, you got the finger pointing going on in the locker room, and guys are blaming each other, and they're arguing, and everybody's on the wrong page. And then here come the Packers next week. You're not ready to play them. A lot of things can go sideways if they don't win tonight. But they're going to be at Arrowhead Stadium.
Yeah.
And they should have no problem winning tonight.
I got this feeling, man, it's going to be a better game than what we expect. Like you said, the G-men, when they show up, they can be a dog, and the Chiefs are going to have to bring it. The G-men are not going to go in there and lay down to them. They're looking at look at these guys' record. We can beat this team. So if they come in there and start running the ball and keep Patrick on the sideline, and eating up that clock, and Patrick has a couple of picks, they could pretty much lose this game, and that could pretty much be the season for them. I know it's early, but losing a game like this at home, that'll put them in a situation they haven't faced before. In a long time, even with Alex Smith, I don't even think they had a record this bad with Alex Smith. So with someone like Patrick Mahomes, who everyone was frowning as the next Brady, and
oh my gosh,
that'll be big to overcome.
It would be. It absolutely would be. So Matt Fortney says Chiefs are in trouble with their remaining schedule. Raiders twice, Broncos twice, and the Steelers. There's a chance they miss the playoffs, and then you got Green Bay coming down there next weekend. So, no, it could go all sideways tonight if they don't handle their business. I definitely believe they can get up off the carpet, though, and be, those Kansas City Chiefs. I think they can do it, but I would agree with you. They need to step their games up tonight and go ahead and handle the Giants. And as I say that, in our next topic of discussion, and you look at what in the world is going on with the Kansas City Chiefs, the state of the Kansas City Chiefs, how would you describe it? How did we get here with the Chiefs?
Defense not playing good. You can run the ball up and down the field on them. You can pass on them. And then you add that with Patrick Mahomes not making those magical plays like he's been making his career and throwing interceptions. And there you got it. You turning the ball over. Your defense ain't stopping nobody.
No.
You want to lose football games.
And therein lies the problem with Kansas City. Their defense is horrible.
Yeah.
I don't think they could stop the high school down the street. I'm in Northern Virginia. What is it, Garfield High? They couldn't stop them. So here's the deal. Now you're exposing, we talked about this earlier in the show, when everything goes haywire, what can your quarterback do? Can he save the season? Can he be that guy that can go, okay, we can stay in the hunt. I got this, right? Well, look, everybody had crowned Patrick Mahomes as the best quarterback in history. And I was going, okay, can we pump the brakes a little bit? Can we give this guy like a body of work first before we say that?
Right.
And he's playing pretty poorly right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Mahomes is just. I've never seen Patrick Mahomes play like this, and he's just probably a victim of someone that's trying too hard.
Yeah.
And I think if he just slows it down and just look, Patrick, you can't throw an 80-yard bomb every play.
Right.
And so he's kind of getting exposed. And
I think we've seen a similar thing with Carson Wentz, just trying to do too much. And with Patrick, it's ended up turning into turnovers. And you hope that it doesn't turn into injury. Sometimes you just got to know when the play is over and throw it away. Instead of trying to make a play, taking a big hit, an unnecessary hit, or getting a turnover. Yeah.
Yeah. So the state of the Kansas City Chiefs right now looks very iffy. They're not a good football team. Matter of fact, the Washington football team had a shot to beat them 2 weeks ago. And as only the Washington football team can do, they figured out a way to just lose the ball game.
They seem to be pretty good.
I mean, they had the Chiefs on the ropes late, and so you got some funny business going on with it. Matter of fact, as I talk about, I'm gonna leave the Washington football team alone. I'm gonna leave them alone. So anyway, let's move on now to. We got week 10 coming up. As we look at next week's ball games coming up, the game of the week, in my estimation for week 10, would have the Titans well, before Big Dog got hurt, I would have said the Titans versus the Rams would have been the game of the week.
Yeah.
And
it still could be. It just depends on, you can't replace a Derrick Henry, but by a running back by committee, if they could somewhat, do what the Ravens are doing with their running back by committee situation, still get, the numbers and the rushing yards, can Tannehill and that defense do enough? Because they have some playmakers on the offensive side of the ball, too, in the wide receiver position. And can they do enough? Because to be honest with you, the Titans match up well against the Rams because of their defense.
Right.
Their defense will keep them in any ball game, but they're definitely going to have to get some production from the run, and Tannehill is going to have to make some plays here and
there. Which I'm not going to count on. But, I will.
I'll take him over Jimmy.
Yeah, well, look, Tannehill, listen, dude, he's just benefited from having a beast of a running game. Again, go back to Baker Mayfield. When Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt were healthy, hey, man, all he had to do was ride that running game and then make appropriate throws whenever they needed him to. Yeah. You even talk about Jimmy G when you guys had that beast running game 2 years ago, that the year you went to the Super Bowl. All Jimmy G had to do was make timely throws here and there. Running back's going to take us to the promised land.
Yeah.
And so that's what you're looking at with Ryan Tannehill. He doesn't have his big dog anymore unless they can get AP in a running back by committee situation going where they can get, a strong running game. And maybe, Tannehill's not a bum, okay? He's not a bum. But he's not an elite quarterback either. And he's going to need some help with that running game. So we'll see what happens.
But he does have an elite defense. I will say that. Titans defense is pretty good. They're pretty good defense.
Okay, well, the final score yesterday was Tennessee 34 and the Colts 31.
Okay, when you think about it like that, would you say the Buccaneers have a good defense?
Dude, you know what? That's a really good question. I would say that the Bucs have a very good defense.
Look at what the Saints did with a third-string quarterback. It happens.
You got to remember something. Here's the thing about the NFL, and this is what happened to the kid with the beer name. What's it again? Taylor, what's his name?
Heineke.
That's it. That's the Heineken. Now, see, when he got in the playoffs, everyone was, I like him. He could be the guy. And then all of a sudden, there was tape, there was video. Defensive coordinators figured out how to stop him. He can't get out of a brown paper bag now.
Can I speak on Tyler Heineke?
Yes, sure.
You got to look, and you've said it several times. You'll see the kid make a great play or a great throw, and you'll see flashes of greatness in him, right?
Yeah.
Me personally, I look at Heineke like a rookie. I look at him like this is your rookie season. This is what you're going to get when you don't get playing time in the NFL. You're going to experience things that you didn't experience in practice wearing a red jersey when nobody can touch you.
Yeah.
So I know this is a week-to-week league, and, Washington is a market where fans want to win now, and they're ready to throw in the towel. And, but you got to build with this kid. I'm still thinking they should draft the quarterback, but I'd like to see Heineke next year. I'd like to see if he can, go through the season, take his lumps, and take that into next year and see if he can develop a little bit more, if he has time, if they'll allow him the time to do so.
Yeah, and he doesn't need to take too many more lumps. He won't have another season. But anyway, Stu, dude, I'll tell you, dude, this has been a nice. Look, man, I appreciate you stopping by and chopping it up on the Maurice Brown Show. This is the Maurice Brown Show Sports Edition, and you can check us out from this point forward throughout the NFL season as we break down the games from Sunday. Matt Fortney says, then why did Ron bring in Fitz? Here we go. Look, Matt.
Fitz.
Oh, let me just say this. We got a Redskin fan here, and I get it. I mean the Washington football team. I don't want to fan. But they brought in Ryan Fitzpatrick. If he had been healthy, I will say this. The Redskins would have a winning record. The Redskins, I'm not sure why you're asking me why did Ron bring in Fitzpatrick? Ron knew that because he knew he knew that Tyler wasn't ready. And so I mean it is what it is. I mean and so getting back to Ryan Tannehill, I was saying, people I don't know if I was talking about Ryan Tannehill or whatever it was, but if you see video as a defensive coordinator on these guys, Trevor Siemian. I mean, it's like, we weren't preparing this week for Trevor Siemian. We prepared our entire game plan on Black Santa Claus. You see what I'm saying? They spent the whole week focusing on Jameis Winston. Yeah. So invariably, when you get a new guy out there, it's like, oh man, we don't know what he's going to do. We didn't look at his tendencies, and Siemian was able to take advantage of that. And he's a guy that has started in the NFL. He was the Broncos' starting quarterback for like 7-8 games in a row a couple of years ago. So he's no stranger to being out there on the field and playing ball. And I think that if he starts the following week, they'll eat him alive.
Yeah.
They'll eat him alive.
But you know what? That defense is what kept them in that game. Getting those picks on time and sacking time and getting the time. If you got a good defense, you can be in any game.
Well, the Saints' defense knows exactly how to get to Brady.
Yeah.
And that's the key in beating Brady is pressure. Yeah, okay, knockdowns. Even if you don't sack him, hit him. I mean, if you can just keep him under duress, that's why I lost 2 Super Bowls to the New York Giants. They pushed him around. They got there. And so the Saints, they seem to have the ability to do the same thing. So to your point, yeah, the defense made a big difference in why they were able to win the ballgame because, I mean, Tommy still figured out how to get 27 points up there on the board, but it was too little too late. Yeah. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking with Antoine Real Stewart on the Maurice Brown Show Sports Edition. We're going to come at you every week for the rest of the NFL season and break down the latest goings-on in the NFL. So, Stu, I appreciate you being on. And you got any plans tonight for the Monday night game?
Oh, man, I'm going to enjoy it, man, and thank you for having me on. Hopefully we have a good game tonight, and hopefully the Chiefs can get their swag back.
Hopefully they can get their swag back, Stu. We'll see what happens. Hey, man, thanks again for being on the show. May the peace of Jesus Christ be with you and your family, Stu. God bless you.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you.